What's going on? Good to see you. Honored to see you. How you feeling? Well, we're glad to have you. Are we taking care of you? You need anything? Let's have 12 play well. Is that right? Good to see you, man.
Think about this for a moment, right? Like, if Shedeur is going to be the future, you're not going to draft a quarterback. You can't get Mendoza. It's not a quarterback class. Who has always gotten the most out of Shedeur? It's Deion Sanders. Also, what we know about Deion Sanders is he's not necessarily a great X's and O's coach. He's a great motivator of men. So get you your X's and O's coach, offensively, defensively. Keep Jim Schwartz. Do not let him lead the building. Defense is solid. Go get you an offensive coordinator that you think can win, and now you fully invested in Shedeur. And more than anything, if the Browns can't win, because we know that's a tough division to win in, Deion will make the Browns poppin'. So at least you'll win one battle. At minimum, you'll win the battle of fame. At minimum, you'll win the battle of excitement. And more than anything, you'll get what you need to get out of Shedeur. So to me, T, getting Deion to Shedeur is just as valuable as getting another receiver, this or that, because you're going to unlock the best out of Shedeur if you're committing to Shedeur.
The Cleveland Browns are once again standing at the edge of chaos. And this time, the conversation isn't just about wins and losses. It's about identity. It's about direction. And most importantly, it's about Shedeur Sanders. Because when people hear the words Browns, they don't think stability. They think uncertainty. They think wasted talent. And now, with 9 NFL coaching vacancies opening across the league and a quarterback market that looks dry, flat, and uninspiring, one idea has set the internet on fire. What if the Browns hired Deion Sanders for Shedeur? Now, before you roll your eyes, before you call it clickbait or fantasy football logic, let's slow this down. Because this debate isn't random. It didn't come from nowhere. It came from real NFL conversations. Real analysts, real former players, and real fear that Cleveland might once again ruin a quarterback before he ever gets a fair shot. Shedeur Sanders is standing at a crossroads. A cheap rookie contract, a terrible quarterback draft class, a weak free agency pool where Malik Willis might be the best option. Let that sink in. This is not a year where you casually move on from a young quarterback. This is a year where you either commit or collapse. And that's where Deion Sanders enters the conversation. Not as a genius play caller, not as some secret offensive mastermind, but as the one person who has consistently unlocked the best version of Shedeur Sanders. The one coach who understands how Shedeur thinks, how he leads, how he responds to pressure, and how he thrives when the noise gets loud. Because when the lights are brightest, Shedeur doesn't shrink. He leans in. Here's the uncomfortable truth that a lot of people don't want to say out loud. If Shedeur Sanders is your future, then developing him is more important than drafting another receiver. It's more important than chasing a mid-tier free agent. And it might even be more important than finding the perfect X's and O's coach. Because quarterbacks don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because organizations fail them. Deion Sanders isn't being discussed because he's flashy. He's being discussed because Cleveland is desperate for relevance, energy, and belief. And whether you love him or hate him, Coach Prime brings all three. If the Browns can't win immediately in a brutal division, Deion would still make them matter. He'd make them watchable. He'd make them exciting. And yes, he'd protect Shedeur from becoming another forgotten name in Cleveland's long quarterback graveyard. Now ask yourself this. If you're not drafting a quarterback and you're not signing one worth $40 million, what exactly is the plan? Are you really going to waste Shedeur's cheap years hoping the situation magically improves?
Did Cliff Kingsbury choose to leave Texas Tech?
No.
He got fired, right?
Yeah.
Cliff Kingsbury, was he a winning coach at Texas Tech?
Nope.
Who was the best coach Cliff Kingsbury coached at Texas Tech? Best quarterback Cliff Kingsbury coached at Texas
Patrick
Tech?
Mahomes.
Okay. So he was at Texas Tech, a loser at Tech, got fired at Tech, and coached Mahomes at Tech. Now, after Cliff King, now this for y'all in the chat. Oh, I'm glad y'all are waiting. After Cliff Kingsbury got fired at Tech, what was the next job he took immediately? It's a trick question.
I got you. It was a USC offensive coordinator job.
Great.
Yeah.
Did he ever coach at USC?
Not a lick.
What the hell?
Well, later on he went back.
So he didn't coach at USC, even though that was a job he took after getting fired at Tech, and he got fired and he coached Patrick Mahomes. Why the hell didn't he coach at SC here?
Because he got the head coaching opportunity at the Arizona Cardinals.
Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, so selected as a college coach. Got fired, but got a head coaching job in the NFL. Now, here's where I'm going to land the plane. He took the head coaching job at the Cardinals. Who was the Cardinals quarterback going to be the following season?
Kyler Murray.
God, dog. Okay, so he gets fired at Tech, goes to SC, doesn't go to SC, goes to the league, and takes a job because of Kyler Murray. Now, how did Cliff Kingsbury know Kyler Murray?
He coached him at A&M.
And he recruited him?
Recruited him at A&M, yeah.
This isn't about Deion coaching the Browns. This is about the Browns finally choosing a quarterback and standing on it. But not everyone agrees. And the pushback is loud. Some analysts flat out say it will never happen. They point to Colorado's record. They say Prime missed his window. They argue that NFL teams are starving for offensive innovators, not motivators. And they're not wrong about one thing. The NFL does not care about hype if you can't win. But history doesn't always follow logic. Because we've seen this movie before. And this is where the conversation shifts from emotion to precedent. Cliff Kingsbury was not a winning college coach. He got fired. He failed by the standards everyone uses to disqualify Deion Sanders. And yet, he landed an NFL head coaching job immediately. But because of one name, Kyler Murray. The Cardinals didn't hire Cliff because he dominated college football. They hired him because of his relationship with their quarterback. Because they believed continuity, trust, and familiarity could unlock Kyler's potential at the next level. And guess what? It worked. 3 wins, then 5, then 11. A playoff appearance. Was it perfect? But it was progress. So when people say, this would never happen, they're ignoring reality. NFL teams don't always hire the best resume. Sometimes they hire the best fit. And right now, Deion Sanders might be the best fit for Shedeur Sanders. Now let me ask you something directly. If you're a Browns fan watching this, would you rather gamble on another unknown quarterback or fully invest in the one you already have? Because that's the question Cleveland has to answer. The Browns don't need another quarterback. They need to stop breaking them. Now critics will say this is coddling, that Shedeur needs to grow on his own, that having your father as your head coach in the NFL would undermine credibility, that locker rooms won't respect it. But here's the truth. NFL locker rooms respect results. Period. And respect doesn't come from who your dad is. It comes from how you play, how you prepare, and how you respond when everything goes wrong. Shedeur has already proven he can handle pressure. He's played behind bad offensive lines. He's taken hits. He's been doubted. And he's still stood tall. Is having someone in your corner a weakness or a weapon? Russell Wilson had Trevor Mowood. Tom Brady had Alex Guerrero. Elite athletes often have anchors. People who reset them mentally. People who keep them centered. We call it a crutch when we don't understand it. But when it works, we call it leadership. So here's a question for you. Right now, is it really a problem if the Browns do whatever it takes to maximize Shedeur Sanders? Because the alternative is familiar. The alternative is chaos. The alternative is another reset. Another rebuild. Another wasted rookie deal. And Cleveland fans are tired. Would you rather risk controversy or guarantee irrelevance? This debate isn't about Deion Sanders' ego. It's about Cleveland finally choosing belief over fear. Because playing it safe hasn't worked. Playing traditional hasn't worked. And pretending this franchise knows how to develop quarterbacks hasn't worked either. Shedeur Sanders represents a chance to break that cycle. And whether you like it or not, Deion Sanders is part of that conversation now. Let's take this deeper, because this is where the debate gets uncomfortable. The argument against Deion Sanders always circles back to one thing. Resume. People say he doesn't have the track record. They say he hasn't developed multiple quarterbacks. They say it's just Shedeur and Travis Hunter. But here's the part they leave out. The Browns don't need a quarterback factory. They need one quarterback to work. This isn't about building a system for 10 years. This is about saving a moment. A window. A fragile opportunity before it closes. And when you look at the Browns situation honestly, the logic becomes harder to ignore. Next year's quarterback class is supposed to be loaded. Arch Manning. Big names. Big hype. Which means Cleveland has leverage. If Shedeur wins, they've found their guy. If he doesn't, they're positioned to pivot. That's not reckless. That's calculated. The Browns don't need certainty. They need clarity. Rolling with Shedeur Sanders gives them both outcomes. Success or a clear reset. What they can't afford is stagnation. Critics argue that Deion's style works better in college. The strict rules. the discipline, the personality. They say NFL veterans won't respond to it. But let's be honest, the Browns' locker room hasn't exactly been a culture masterpiece. Sometimes, disruption is the point. And remember this, Deion wouldn't be hired to call plays. He'd be hired to lead, to delegate, to set tone. Keep Jim Schwartz. Lock him in the building. Go find an elite offensive coordinator. Surround Shedeur with professionals. And let Prime handle what he's always handled best. Belief. Because belief matters in this league more than people admit. Do you think confidence can change a quarterback's career? Shedeur Sanders has always played with a chip on his shoulder. He hears the noise. He feels the doubt. And he responds. What he needs now is an organization that doesn't flinch at the first sign of adversity. And that's why this debate won't go away. People laugh at it. They call it insane. They say a GM should be fired for even considering it. But those same people have watched Cleveland fail the right way for decades. Sometimes the controversial move isn't dumb. It's desperate. And desperation creates bold decisions. The Browns don't have a quarterback problem. They have a commitment problem. And until they solve that, it won't matter who the head coach is. Shedeur Sanders deserves a real chance. Not a half-season evaluation. Not a short leash. Not a constant rumor mill behind him. A real chance. And if that means having the one coach who has always brought the best out of him in the building, then maybe that's not crazy at all. If this works, would anyone still call it insane? Because that's how the NFL always works. The same idea gets laughed at until it wins. And whether Deion Sanders ever coaches the Browns or not, this conversation says something bigger. It says the league is finally realizing what Shedeur Sanders represents. Not just talent, but potential worth protecting. And Cleveland has a choice. Chaos or conviction that lets keep pushing this conversation forward, because there's another layer to this debate that doesn't get talked about enough. What Shedeur Sanders actually needs right now in his career. This isn't college anymore. This isn't about recruiting stars or winning press conferences. This is about survival in the NFL. And history shows us something very clear. Young quarterbacks don't fail because they're not talented enough. They fail because organizations panic. They fail because teams don't commit. They fail because confidence gets shattered before it ever fully forms. And Cleveland? Cleveland has a reputation. If the Browns break Shedeur Sanders, it won't be because he wasn't good enough. It'll be because they didn't protect him. Look at the environment Shedeur would be walking into. A fan base already divided. Media waiting for mistakes. Analysts already questioning whether he's really that guy. That pressure hits different when you're a young quarterback with a famous last name. Every interception becomes a headline. Every loss becomes a referendum. That's why the Deion Sanders conversation matters more than people want to admit. Because Deion doesn't just coach football. He shields. He controls narrative. He commands rooms. When Prime speaks, people listen, players, media, ownership. And that alone changes the temperature around Shedeur Sanders. Ask yourself this honestly. How many Browns quarterbacks were allowed to grow without constant second-guessing? Exactly. Now here's another uncomfortable truth. The Browns are not in a position to pretend they're a normal franchise. Normal franchises draft quarterbacks, develop them, and win patiently. Cleveland doesn't get that luxury. They need momentum. They need relevance. They need belief. And whether you like him or not, Deion Sanders brings belief instantly. Winning fixes everything, but belief gives you a chance to win. People keep saying, what if it fails? But nobody wants to ask the opposite question. What if it works? What if Shedeur takes a leap? What if the Browns become must-watch football? What if free agents suddenly look at Cleveland differently because the energy changed? That's not fantasy. That's branding. That's culture. That's business. And the NFL is as much business as it is football. Now let's address the locker room concern head-on. Some critics argue NFL veterans won't respect Deion, that his college-style discipline won't fly. But here's the reality. Deion Sanders is not just a coach. He's a Hall of Famer. He's lived the NFL. He's won Super Bowls. He understands pros because he was one. Respect isn't automatic in the NFL. But credibility matters. And Prime has that in ways most first-time NFL head coaches don't. Do you really think NFL players won't listen to one of the greatest defensive players of all time? Now, does Deion need elite coordinators around him? Absolutely. That's non-negotiable. But that's true for most head coaches. Head coaches lead. Coordinators execute. The Browns already have pieces in place. The defense is solid. The missing piece is offensive direction and quarterback confidence. That brings us back to Shedeur. Shedeur Sanders has shown toughness. He's played through pressure. He's played behind shaky protection. He's been hit more than he should have been. And yet he hasn't folded. That matters. That tells you something about his ceiling. You don't need to coddle Shedeur Sanders. You need to believe in him. And belief doesn't mean blind loyalty. It means alignment. Same message from ownership. Same message from coaching staff. Same message in the locker room. That alignment has been missing in Cleveland for years. Let's talk timeline for a moment. The Browns aren't married to Shedeur forever. That's the beauty of this situation. If he wins, great, you've found your guy. If he struggles, you're positioned for the 2027 quarterback class. Either way, you gain clarity. What you cannot afford is limbo. Isn't clarity better than pretending everything's fine? That's why this move, controversial as it sounds, actually makes sense structurally. It's not emotional. It's strategic. Now here's where people misunderstand the pro-Shedeur angle. Supporting Shedeur Sanders doesn't mean claiming he's perfect. It means recognizing that young quarterbacks need support systems. Every successful one had it. Whether it was coaching, scheme, culture, or trust. Nobody makes it alone. And Deion Sanders represents the strongest support system Shedeur has ever had. The NFL doesn't reward fairness. It rewards bold decisions that work. And Cleveland hasn't been bold in the right way. So whether Deion Sanders ever coaches the Browns or not, this discussion exposes something deeper. It exposes how fragile quarterback development really is. It exposes how scared teams are to commit. And it exposes how much pressure Shedeur Sanders is already under before he's even fully started his NFL journey. If you were Shedeur Sanders, wouldn't you want the one coach who's always had your back in the building? Because football is brutal. Careers are short. Windows close fast. And confidence, once broken, is almost impossible to rebuild. This isn't about hype. This isn't about headlines. This is about giving Shedeur Sanders the best possible chance to succeed. And if Cleveland finally decides to do that, they might just surprise everyone. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for Gridiron Insights, where we break down NFL news, controversies, and the stories nobody else wants to touch. Stay locked in.